Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Reference Point. I'm your host, Dave Kocharhook. This evening, we're going to be speaking with two representatives from the Minority Business Enterprise Center here in Northern California. I have with me tonight Yan Hua Lee and Raymond Yeong. Welcome, Yan Hao. Raymond, thank you for being here this evening. It's really a pleasure to have you guys here. And what we're going to talk about tonight is this fantastic organization you guys represent, the Minority Business Enterprise Center. So what I wanted to do is maybe have us start talking about this, and we want the audience to know what your organization does and how it can be of service to those individuals who have a business and may be able to assist. So Raymond, tell me a little bit about the MBEC, Minority Business Enterprise Center. What is this organization?
Sure, thank you, Dave. MBEC, as it says, is the Minority Business Enterprise Center. It's a non-profit organization funded by the Department of Commerce, and it's operated by Asian Inc. in San Francisco.
Okay.
And basically, we have three primary services that we have to offer. The first is technical assistance, where we provide one-on-one business consultation. The second is government procurement, which Yan Hua here is a specialist in that. And the third thing is access to capital. These are the three primary services that we have to offer.
Okay. And so when we talk about your group, the MBEC up here in Northern California, is it one of many similar organizations around the U.S., or is this unique to what we have here in Northern California?
Actually, we are one of the many similar organizations all over the country. MBEC is funded by MBDA, which is a minority business development agency of Department of Commerce, and they have our program is like a spin-off program from MBDA, and we have three MBEC centers in California, in the state of California, and we also have many other MBEC centers all over the country. Okay,
so it's a nationwide program.
Exactly.
That's sponsored by you said the Department of Commerce?
Right.
So the Department of Commerce is looking to help facilitate activity in small businesses, especially minority-owned businesses. Okay. So here we are in Northern California. You mentioned that there are a couple others in California. Here in Northern California, your group is responsible. When you say Northern California, I mean, what is your geography that you're responsible for dealing with?
We cover 15 counties, basically.
15 counties.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so it's most from kind of like the Bay Area north, cut across the state and go north, pretty much. Is that more or less? More or less.
Yeah,
you
more
give me
or
a list of them, and then there's a lot of counties right around the Bay Area. There's like 10, 11 counties right in the Greater Bay Area.
Our office is in San Jose, so we also sometimes use the Asian Inc. office to meet with clients. So since our office location is in the Bay Area, it's more convenient for us to service the minority business owners in the Bay Area.
In the Bay Area, so anyone from Napa, Sonoma, Marin County, Alameda, Contra Costa, Santa Clara, Marin. Well, I already said Marin, San Mateo counties. You go down to Monterey and Santa Cruz as well,
I mean, we try to cover as much of the 15 counties as possible.
It's hard,
It's
we're
hard.
trying to outreach,
as much as we can.
Sometimes it's hard, for the commute. It's quite.
But for the convenience, like she was saying, we can meet them either in San Francisco or in San Jose, or we will also go to their office if necessary.
The client's office to visit them. Let's talk a little bit about the three services that you mentioned. Okay, you said, Raymond, that there are three primary services, one of which was technical assistance.
Right.
You mentioned procurement assistance, which we'll talk to you about in some detail in a minute here, Yeong Hwa. And then the third one had to do with
access to capital.
Access to capital. So let's talk about technical assistance first. If I'm a small business owner and I qualify for your types of services, what does technical assistance mean?
Well, let's back up a little bit. When we say that you're a small minority business owner, we have a target too. Our target is actually a business with revenues of 500,000 or more.
500,000 or more.
Exactly. But the thing is that if we see that you are a potential who wants to start a business and have the seriousness of the entrepreneurship in starting a business, we will not turn you away too. So we will also help in that sense, even though you have a startup But our general guideline is for businesses with an existing business with proceeds of 500,000 or more.
Okay, so let me just restate that to make sure I understand that correctly. So ideally, the businesses you're working for have been there for some period of time.
Right.
They have a level of success that they've shown,
Sure.
and their revenues are at least $500,000.
All right.
However, if you've got either a startup company or an emerging company that may have been there for a little bit that's caught a wave of some kind, and
Exactly.
they actually have a reasonable business plan,
Right.
and they can show that they're in a position to grow,
Right.
you'd certainly be there to help them. Is
Yes,
that, okay,
yeah.
great.
Yeah, our objective is business expansion and retention. So
Okay.
in ours, if you have a business, we want you to retain the business. Or if you have an existing business also, we want to expand your business. So our objective is for you for the business owner to create employment and to increase revenues.
Got it.
Right.
So
And
that's
we try
our
to
goal.
actually help all kind of minority business owners. If they, they are startup business and they don't have much idea what they're going to do, we would try to, if we cannot, help them, we try to refer them to other organization who will be a better position to help them.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So
Right.
let's talk just a little bit more. I want to understand better what technical assistance really
Okay.
means.
Technical assistance, in a way, I provide one-on-one business consultation. So depending on what the needs are, a lot of companies or business owners come and say that they want money, but the thing is that a lot of times they might not qualify for a loan.
Sure.
I mean,
Right.
if they are really in trouble, they have cash flow issues, borrowing might not be a solution for
Right.
their cash flow issues. So
Right.
what I can do is that I can go and look at their financial statements and see how we can do budgeting for the company, assist them in preparing a business plan. If we feel that, there's a lot of wastage, how we can do on the pricing structure, ways to, maybe cut payroll, be more efficient in the operations
Okay.
of the business. So,
So
that's what
it sounds like
technical assistance
you have
is
the
all about.
resources at MBEC to assist in all aspects of a company's business, whether it's human resources and personnel, procurement in terms of where do I get my material, my financials, have I got my financial reports correct, what's my projections and business plans,
Exactly.
all the way
Yeah.
along the line. Okay.
Yeah.
And are you able to provide those services yourselves and with MBEC staffing for the most part?
We try the best that we can, but if we are not able, for instance, like a minority business owner have a tax issue for us,
Right.
we are not tax experts, or if they have a legal issue, we are not attorneys. So what we do is that we partner with service providers who are
okay.
attorneys or who may be CPAs that they can, we can refer them to.
Right. Someone that you have confidence in.
Exactly.
So that then they can feel confident
Exactly.
in that referral.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
So-
Okay. All right, so that's very interesting, and I can see how the very well-rounded opportunity. So a business that qualifies for your assistance will be able to get these kinds of this kind of help to enhance their operations. Now, do they have to pay for this service?
No, it's non-profit, and
Yeah.
most of the consulting work is free of charge.
This is the good part.
Right.
It's really good.
So
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, so we get our services all for free. But in the event that a business owner really needs our service to do more than what it takes on a consulting level, then we will have a separate contract.
Okay.
And only with the business owner's consent that they want to hire our services, then only there's a fee involved.
Got
And
it.
even though there's a fee involved, it's a very minimal fee.
Right, some level of reasonable
Yeah,
exchange. but
exactly,
You're,
because-
you're not trying to make $1 million.
Exactly, because like I
Exactly.
point, we are a non-profit organization to help minority business
Yeah.
Got it.
prosper.
And also
That's the
because the
intent.
program is funded by the federal government, so the federal government also subsidized the MBE minority-owned business owners for the service they require from us. For example, the more extensive research work or analysis work, and is heavily subsidized by the government.
Well, that helps.
Yeah. So compare with, if you hire a consultant elsewhere for $75 an hour, we'll probably charge $10 or $20
so it's
an
minimal.
hour.
Very reasonable.
Yes.
Very
And it depends on the affordability of the
Right.
business owner too.
Exactly.
Well, you started to mention something here, Hyun-Hwa, that triggered a thought for me, because we talked about the funding for this kind of service that comes from the government. But right now we've got this massive stimulus package that has been approved by Congress that in theory is trickling down to the state and local level, and soon will be available to access, to actually for agencies to do things with where there may be monies to be spent. And so that brings me to the question of procurement that you talked about. Because aren't there programs that the state and the federal government has for seeing that certain funds get channeled to minority businesses, and is that true?
Well, different government agencies have different policy. Before they have the MBE program, which they would have set aside, procurement dollar for the certified MBE owners. Now, a lot of the government agency actually they promote a racial neutral. The concept. So instead of the MBE program, they will have local business enterprise program or small business enterprise program. So in order for the business owners to benefit from this program, they need to get certified by different government agencies. Having said that, still there are some government agencies, they still have the MBE or women-owned business programs. So the business owners, we really encourage them to, do some research, do some homework, and know, what is the free money there for them? For them
to be. I want to make sure everybody understands MBE is Minority Business Enterprise, right? So when we use that acronym MBE, that's Minority Business Enterprise. Okay, so let's talk about this just a little bit more. When we're discussing procurement, what does that mean for what kind of companies might be able to participate and take advantage of this kind of opportunity?
Well, actually, it covers all kind of industry or business, construction, supplier, also professional service provider. So the government agencies, they have different threshold for business owners from different industry. For example, for the small business enterprise program, the threshold for a construction contractor, probably in order to be qualified as a small business owner, they need to have a revenue lower than 40 million. But for a professional service provider, maybe that threshold will be 7 million.
Got it. Okay.
So it covers a lot, basically. And the thing is that a lot of business owners are aware of it, that are not aware that the government buys everything. Just take, for example,
pens and pencils.
Exactly. Even like this coffee mug or this table or this tablecloth, they buy everything.
But let's talk about certification, because is it just filling out a form? Is there some sort of process that the reason I'm asking this question is if I'm a business owner and I'm looking at, hey, there's this potential opportunity out there, what do I need to be aware of in order to take advantage of the opportunity? What do I need to do, and therefore how can MBEC help me achieve that?
Right, definitely certification assistant is one of our core assistants in the program too. Is under the procurement assistance. Getting certification is more than just filling out a form. First of all, the business need to, based on different government agencies' policy. For example, if you are applying for SBE certification from the State of California Department of General Services, you need to have a principal office located in California.
Okay, and SBE is Small Business Enterprise?
Right, small, thanks for reminding me again. And the business have to have less than 100, I think 100 people, staff in their business. So they cannot be, a huge corporation.
Cannot be like a Fortune 500 company.
You need to know what the qualifications are for one thing, and then you need to know, I'm assuming, how to navigate through the process to achieve certification.
Right.
And that's where you guys come in.
Exactly. Point. Yeah.
And since you mentioned that actually there are a lot of certification available for business owners to apply, even within the government area, there is federal level, state level, and local level.
And they may be different.
Right. Exactly.
But the same company might be able to be certified for all three.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
And then there is certification, acknowledged by the corporation, which is certified by Northern California Supplier Development Council.
Okay.
So that is not a government certification, but that would help the small business owners or minority business owners to work with the corporation in a better position.
Got it. So there are corporate programs
Exactly.
that parallel some of
within the private sector.
Right.
public programs. Okay.
So that's important to get certified, so that
Yeah.
to be in the playing field.
Right.
Otherwise.
And we actually met a lot of members in the program. When they walk into our office, they just said that, I want to get certified and I want to work with the government. But which certification you want to to get? And then they feel so confused. Oh,
Yeah.
there are a lot of certification I didn't know.
And
so that's why we are here to
And
help.
I think that's a real important point, and that hopefully our viewership will come to understand, and that is that there are a lot of different possibilities.
Yes.
So that's why coming to an organization like yours can be so valuable to them, because you guys do this day in and day out.
We
And
try our best.
Yeah. So you have a much better feel
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
how to navigate those waters. Now I want to go to another topic, because you mentioned that the third role that MBEC fills is to help the
Access
guys
to capital.
access to capital.
Right.
So let's talk about access to capital. What does
Right.
that mean?
Well, that's the thing. Like I say, a lot of business owners, when they come to our organization, the first thing comes to their mind is they want a line of credit.
Yeah.
But the thing is that from there, we try to find out more in depth as to what their needs are. Okay, line of credit is normally for working capital or for accounts receivable, financing, and stuff like that. But when we get to talk to them, they say, "Oh, I need to buy equipment. I need money to, have another store." So that's a term loan. So the thing is that for the business owner, we try to educate them as a resource center and tell them what are the different programs that are available for the business owner. Then there's the SBA 7A loan program, and then there's the SBA 504 loan program. There are just so many. And then there's factoring if they cannot get any kind of financing from the local banks. There's always another option. Factoring is another option. So these are the things that a lot of the business owners are not educated or is not aware of what are the programs that are out there. So when they come to our organization, then we can, after talking to them from the one-on-one consultation to find out what the needs are, then
You
they
can
know
really give
exactly
them some perspective. And that makes a lot of sense, because I
Right.
can see, I've had the opportunity to work with small businesses most of my career. And they're always saying, "Boy, I just need cash. I need money. I
Right.
need
Exactly.
But then I could see the refining of that from the questions you asked them. Well, what is it that what do you need the cash for? What are you trying
Right.
to accomplish?
Right.
What do you,
Exactly.
well, I need more equipment, or I need this, or I need that.
Exactly.
My
And then
truck
how-
just blew up."
Exactly.
So if you know
Yeah.
what their major challenge is, you can direct them toward the provider of cash
Right.
that might be the best suited to get them what they need. So that makes a
Right.
lot of sense.
Right.
So
That's why it ties together the consultation, the technical assistance, and the access to capital. Because maybe today they might not be able to qualify for a loan. So what we can do is that we can help them, fix the business first, and then later qualify for the loan. And then another thing too, like in terms of the loan, they are not aware. Like working capital, lines of credit is a short term for 1 year, but the equipment lasts 3 to 7 years.
Exactly.
Right.
So if they use that line of credit, for that, they
they have to pay it off fast.
have to pay it off fast, and then they cannot do it. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this is very cool. So how long have each of you worked for this organization?
Well, I've worked for the MBEC for only 3 months, but in my years, I have a lot of accounting, finance. I work for the Federal Reserve Bank. I've worked for other local banks. I work for the Small Business Development, Corporation, which is a division of SBA. So I'm familiar with the different SBA loan programs that are out there.
Great. So you've got a wealth of experience
Right.
that you're now bringing to MBEC to
yeah.
assist these.
And also the
Right.
thing is that I also work for the private sector. I work for Comcast and Viacom. So I'm able to bring to the table both the private and the government sector.
Got it. Fantastic,
Right.
Raymond. And how about yourself?
I started work for MBEC in Northern California since last June.
Okay.
So it's almost my first anniversary
Hey,
coming
there you
up
go.
next month.
Fantastic.
And it's really a great opportunity for me to get to know different business owners for good variety of industry. I used to work for the Australian Trade Commission.
The Australian Trade Commission?
Yes,
How cool.
and that job also, broadened my horizon to, interact different business owners, and that experience definitely enhanced my, capacity in this work.
Great. So what we've got is people with a lot of knowledge and information, both having worked in the business world, but also integrated to the capital markets and in the information markets, because between the two of you guys, you're able to provide a tremendous amount of assistance to these people. So now, how does a company get in touch with you if they think they might be able to be benefited by you? How do they contact you, and then how do you assess whether or not they actually qualify for as a potential candidate to work with?
Well, like I say, we do not turn anybody. So the best way is to contact us. Contact our organization, or visit our website that tells us everything about the services, who our partners are, the different organizations or associations that are affiliated to us. Once they sign off as a client of our organization, if there's a match in terms of procurement, facilities or benefits or opportunities, we will contact events, we have workshops and ways of outreaching to our clients.
Great.
It's a really great resource center. We use a database called the Phoenix system. So once the member sign into our program, which is for free, the registration, we would put their profile in our database. And the database would also receive a procurement opportunity from different center. So it's a very smart system. It would do automatic matching, business matching process, and they would send their procurement opportunities to their members.
So the system will assess the
from the profile that you submitted.
Well, sure, you have a profile, but then when you mention the procurement opportunities, is that something that it is submitted by
different
the state
centers.
or the? When you say different centers,
right? Actually, all the centers have our,
you mean the MBECs?
Right.
Okay,
information officers.
Oh,
so
I see. So they'll know if there are activities and that.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand. And then you look to match it up, and then you can let them know that something is going on.
Actually, the system.
So you're proactive as well as not, and you're not just reactive. It's not just somebody comes to you and says, "Yo, I need help." Once they've engaged with you, you're in a position to proactively let them know that there's an opportunity for you that we recommend that you pursue or that investigate the possibility of pursuing.
Absolutely. And we organize training workshops and networking events, try to help the business owners to get in touch with their procurement officers from corporation or from government agency. And we hope that among the the minority business owners themselves, they can create some sort of synergy effect too.
Fantastic.
Like for instance, day after tomorrow, we have our workshop in San Francisco. It's called Surviving Economic Hardship, where we invite prime contractors. So people who have already gone through the process, went through all the growing pains, the problems that have encountered when they bid for the contract, then they can network with them and ask them face to face, how do you go about getting the jobs.
And they can get some assistance from each other.
And then we have lenders and we have people from the factoring companies that they can interact and ask questions like, okay, if I want to borrow money, what are the things that you look for, what I have to bring, accounting records,
so you're trying to give them some perspective. One of the things I've learned, we only have a couple of minutes left in the show, by the way, so I'm going to ask you to give me your closing thoughts. But one of the things that occurs to me is that you're looking to give a business owner who, my experience with business owners tends to be, small business owners especially, is that they were real good at something. And they're in that activity, and they've created a business around this thing that they were really good at. But they may not necessarily know all this other stuff that has to happen out here in order for them to really be ultimately successful. And that's what you're offering them. You're offering them a path to be able to get that kind of information so that they can be successful, hire more people, help the overall economy, help their families, help themselves.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, like, especially like any business goes through a cycle. So like when they're at the mature cycle, especially like, especially a good example is like contractors. When the real estate market was very hot, that they are so busy with the phone calls, like doing jobs, painting jobs. And so they never thought about doing procurement. And all of a sudden the phone stopped ringing.
Now what do they do?
What do they do?
Okay.
See?
Okay, so I'll start, Yeong with you. What is the last, any final pearls of wisdom that you want to relay here before we wrap up?
I really believe personally that MBEG, MBEC is a great resource center for the minority business owners. I am a minority, I'm from the minority population myself, and I understand that, there are barriers for MBE owners to do business with the mainstream culture in America. So we have the sympathy for them, empathy for them, and we really work with them to try to help them to grow their business.
Fantastic.
I think this is one of our strengths.
Giving them a resource to be able to come
because
so they realize they're not alone.
Exactly, that they're not alone, and again, like I say, we have the experience behind us, we got good relationships and partners with lenders and other professional service providers that that they can utilize at no cost.
At no cost, and that's a key thing.
Exactly.
Because so often consulting organizations or all kinds of different entities out there will come and look at the small business as a cash cow.
Right.
Maybe it's something I can do, a place for them to generate some revenue. But what you're saying is that you're there to help that business become a stronger and better, and you're able to do it because you're funded by the federal government to a large degree, which then makes that possible.
See,
so, and there's no reason for them not to take advantage of it.
Like say our objective is business expansion and retention.
Business expansion and retention.
Unlike perhaps like a private consultant, like you mentioned, it's for the paycheck.
That's right. Well, Yeong, Raymond, I want to thank you for coming and joining me here at Reference Point this evening.
Thank you.
I really appreciate learning about the Minority Business Enterprise Center, and I hope the audience out there, if you've been listening and you have any thoughts or questions about MBEC or any other subject that we talk about here on Reference Point, or even an idea for future shows, send us an email at info@referencepointtv.com. We'll certainly get your questions about MBEC to Raymond and Hoa Lin, and then we'll be to Raymond and Yeong, and then we'll be able to get that information back to you. So again, Raymond, Yeong, thank you so much for joining us here. Appreciate your devoting your time to this subject, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time on Reference Point.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.